Feeding. Forget the fact you're barely getting nourished properly, but your child not feeding enough? That's another stress altogether. Feeding can feel stressful because it's one of the only things you can measure, and yet it still feels very uncertain. Many parents track every feed, every minute, and every milliliter trying to find reassurance. I know I did at the start. But newborn feeding patterns are naturally inconsistent, especially in the early weeks. Trust me when I say, it's normal for babies to pause, unlatch, daydream, go for a picnic, or take breaks while feeding. That doesn't mean something's wrong. It means they're listening to their body, and by and large, we need to listen to it also. Also bear in mind, a newborn stomach is extremely tiny, and it fills and empties quickly. So what you'll see as time goes, feeding volumes and durations naturally change throughout the day. One shorter feed doesn't cancel out a longer one later. In fact, it's best to look at trends than focus on single or few feeds. Because what matters more is overall intake across the day and weeks, not perfection at each feed. Remember, babies aren't robots, and feeding isn't meant to be identical every time. It'll be different each time, in fact. A baby who pulls away content is often telling you they're full, for example. It may be a smaller feed, but they're content. You can also look for cues. Relaxed hands, soft arms, and calm breathing are powerful fullness cues. In my experience, and many veteran parents will agree, these cues are far more reliable than strict numbers alone. Plus, over time, as they mature, babies learn to regulate hunger and fullness very effectively. Though despite this, it will still be normal for feeding needs to change day to day, especially during growth spurts. My recommendation, keep responding to their cues, because this builds trust and supports healthy feeding long term. You may ask though, does this spoil the baby? The simple answer is no. You're not spoiling them by feeding responsibly, you're teaching regulation. And what I notice a lot in my clinic is that most feeding worries come from uncertainty, not from true feeding problems. Now the important stuff, red flags. Red flags are about growth, wet nappies, and overall alertness, not single feeds. If those are on track, feeding variation is usually normal. If your child starts dropping centiles on the WHO growth chart, then that's a worry. To recap, feeding that feels unpredictable is often part of normal newborn development, and most parents, you included, are doing perfectly fine. Understanding this removes a huge amount of pressure, on top of the already huge amount of stress and pressure you're likely carrying anyways. I have gone through the same, and I tell my patients the same. As long as all other signs are in the green and your baby is gaining weight, it shouldn't be concerning. Thanks for watching. If this helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow along for more simple pediatric tips every week. See you in the next video.